Hey, my name's Mitch. I live in a van in Sydney. Well, I have been for the last few months, and today I wanted to talk about my expenses for the month, because I think that's a really important part of it. Is why one of the reasons why I chose to live in a van. Moved down to the city because I had a good opportunity to make some good money in a good job and learn a lot while I'm here. But when I moved down, I realized it's definitely one of the most expensive places in the world to live. So I wanted to see if there was a better way. And as soon as I saw people living in vans and how much I love adventure, I knew that it was for me straight away. So I put together a bit of a list on how much I actually spend each month. And this is me when I'm working 60 to 80 hours a week, because not only am I a digital marketer for a company in the city, or I have been, I just recently left, but I also run my own websites as well on digital marketing for others. So it leaves me quite busy, but that was the purpose for me coming here for this last 12 months, to live in Sydney, save up some money, learn from some really great people, and to get as much experience as I can in my field. Biggest cost for me each month is food. So I eat out pretty much every single night and day even. So not only do I have a kitchen in here, like I've got two burners on a stovetop, which I could definitely cook from, and I've cooked from there once. But it's just easier for me when I'm working so much to eat out. So I spend $840 on average per month on food. That is lunch throughout the day, which I have in the office, and then eating out virtually every single night. So if you were someone who'd like to cook more, you could easily half that cost and still be feeding yourself really well, especially if you're female. I also eat a lot of food. The next biggest cost for me is paying off this van. I don't like to lay out a huge amount of money up front. I'm a business owner, right? I understand that cash flow is king. So it made more sense for me to just finance this van. My repayments on this are $700 per month. That is also for a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. So it is a van that is definitely one of the more luxurious vans compared to a lot of others. And also in Australia, these vans are quite expensive compared to the rest of the world. Like this van on its own, without anything without the conversion done, would have been $30,000. I paid $40,000, and that was the entire thing done, which I bought off someone else who did it. So you could definitely do that a lot cheaper if you were buying a smaller van, or if you wanted to go something a little bit older. The next one then is insurance. So it's only $80 per month, which is pretty reasonable for living in Australia and for owning a vehicle of this type. Then the next thing on my list is diesel or fuel for the van. So it really depends on where I travel. Because I have been working in the city and working 5 to 6 days a week, then I tend to only stick within 1 to 2 hours of the city and get away every weekend as much as I can. If I'm too tired, then I won't get away. So probably on average, I'm getting away 3 weekends per month. And each time I'm going away, I'm probably spending anywhere between $50 to $100 on fuel. So I've averaged it out, and I would say that I spend roughly $200 per month on diesel. If I wasn't in the city and if I was traveling more, then I'll definitely spend more than that. It'd probably be closer to $300. But for the size of this van and for it's always under load, then I actually get some really good mileage that I'm happy with. And $200 is a pretty awesome price to pay, considering some of the places that I've woken up over the last few months, right next to the beach, right next to the water, out, surrounded by nature. It's super cool. Then, given my occupation and my business, then phone and Wi-Fi is really important for me. So I do pay a lot more than what most people do. That being $130 per month for my phone bill. But that includes 160 gigabytes of data that I can use, which is really important for me as a digital marketer. Before I actually bought the van, I was just living on a prepaid phone, and I was paying $30 a month and still getting by quite well with that. So that's an expense that I choose to pay because of my occupation. If you didn't do the same as me, then you could probably do it for a lot cheaper as well. Then one of the biggest questions I get asked is, where do I shower? Now, I do have a shower in there that I've never actually used just yet. I also have a bathroom or a toilet in there, a composting toilet, which I can use. However, because I'm always out and about and going into the office or on weekends at the beach and near surf clubs, then there's always somewhere for me to shower. But I do pay $54 per month, and that's for a gym membership, which is one of the biggest chains around Australia. That allows me to get access into virtually any club or all clubs that they have around Australia. So there's one that I've used quite a lot, not far from where I park the van each night. and then there's a few that I use in the city near the office as well. In the office that I've been working in for the last 12 months, they also have really great shower facilities down the very bottom of the office building. So I actually use them, have been using them quite a lot as well. And if you are looking to live the van life in a more urban area and while you're working full time, then you can definitely do that as well. And then I've just got some miscellaneous payments of $150. So that would include laundry, that would include gas, so for the gas cooker. That would also include other little miscellaneous things that I need around the van, like I've had to do a few repairs here and there internally and those types of things. So all up, that comes to a total of $2,254 per month. Now, like I said, the reason why I moved to Sydney was because of a great opportunity to learn and make some money. So by living off that amount of money, it's allowed me to save quite a few $1,000s every single month, which then sets me up for my next thing when it came time. And it has done recently, where I'll be able to spend a lot more time on the road and be able to concentrate more on my own stuff, which instead of working 70, 80 hours a week, like I have been for the last 12 months, then I can actually half that and just work a bit more of a normal life, 30 hours a week, and also being able to travel and to get around. So I think it's a really great alternative to live in the van for 12 months or 6 months to save up some money so you can do a big trip. The days of working 40 hours per week, or not even, no one works 40 hours anymore if they're working full time, 50 hours per week for 40 years, just to have a few weeks off per year, I think is dying out very quickly, especially in our generation. So I'm not saying that I don't work that, but what if you were to actually work that much just for a period of time to save up and then move on to the next city? Because jobs are, especially if you can get into digital marketing and social and things like that, there's always jobs available in every city you go to, and you can easily pick up some work for 6 to 12 months for quite good companies, because there's a lot of companies begging for that type of work now. So if I was to compare that to living in Sydney, if I was to get my own space and have my own place around just for a very small studio, probably not much bigger than this, I'd be looking at least $2,000 per month in rent just for a small studio within probably 10 kilometers of the city. So I currently park about 2 kilometers from the city. To get something of that price, I'd have to go out much further, which means a longer commute each day to get into the city, and it just doesn't make any sense. And then if I was to do that, then that would bring the total of living in Sydney without the van of over $3,000. So I'm saving, $800 without even trying every single month, at least. But like I said, if you are someone who has more time, who enjoys cooking, who wants to do this on a little bit more of a budget, then you could easily do this for around about $1,500 per month. So that's why I choose to live in the van. It's been an incredibly rewarding life for me so far. I get to wake up to amazing views. Right now I'm sitting in a park. I feel like I'm a lot more connected to nature every single day because I'm not always stuck inside under a roof and under, just surrounded by Wi-Fi signals and electricity. It's winter right now, so it does get a little bit cold at night, but it's all part of the fun, right? And I think once you're out there in the elements of the world, then you feel a lot more connected, a lot more grounded within yourself, and ultimately, hopefully, a lot more healthy and happy as well. I can't wait for the next big journey, which comes up next week. Between now and my next journey, I'll also post up a video of my tour of my van, and I'll go right through the van and show you everything that it has. It's been decked out really well. I'm super happy with it, and I'll show you some of the things that I would change if I was to do it myself, and when I do one myself, probably in another year or two. So make sure you subscribe so you can check out that video. I'll also do another video in a few weeks time where I'll talk about my expenses while on the road when I'm not working 80 hours per week, because I think those expenses will be quite a lot less. Then you'll get a good understanding of what it's like to live in the city working a lot versus what it's like to be traveling a lot.